Now to the US, where President Barack Obama has taken an unprecedented step into the race to replace him by declaring Republican candidate Donald Trump unfit to be president. President Obama called on Republican leaders to disendorse Mr Trump over his increasingly controversial statements, most recently his attack on the Muslim parents of a decorated US soldier who was killed in action. But one war vet has presented Mr Trump with a Purple Heart, urging him to continue saying the things he does. Anne Barker has our report.
Politicians on the campaign trail are traditionally meant to kiss babies as a way of shoring up public support, and at first Donald Trump sounded like he might do the same when a crying baby disrupted him at a rally in Virginia.
I have the biggest bank in the world as a tenant of mine in New York. The biggest in the world, a Chinese bank. Don't worry about that baby, I love babies. So I love babies. I hear that baby crying, I like it. What a baby.
But the Republican presidential nominee has a history of ejecting people from rallies, and very soon even the baby was kicked out.
Actually, I was only kidding. You can get the baby out of here. That's all right. Don't worry. I think she really believed me that I love having a baby crying while I'm speaking.
But not even a howling baby could drown out the uproar over Donald Trump's recent attack on the parents of a fallen Muslim soldier. Fellow Republicans have condemned his comments as defamatory and insulting. One Republican, Richard Hanna, has announced he'll be voting for Hillary Clinton in November. And now Democrat President Barack Obama has launched his most scathing attack yet on Donald Trump.
I think the Republican nominee is unfit to serve as president. The notion that he would attack a Gold Star family that had made such extraordinary sacrifices, the fact that he doesn't appear to have basic knowledge around critical issues means that he's woefully unprepared to do this job.
In an unprecedented speech, President Obama challenged Republican leaders to withdraw their support for Donald Trump.
And the question I think that they have to ask themselves is, if you are repeatedly having to say in very strong terms that what he has said is unacceptable, why are you still endorsing him? What does this say about your party that this is your standard bearer? There has to be a point at which you say, this is not somebody I can support for President of the United States.
Mr Trump has hit back at Barack Obama, describing him on social media as, quote, perhaps the worst president in the history of the US, unquote. The Republican contender still has plenty of supporters, and not all war veterans have condemned his attack on the soldiers' parents. One Iraqi war vet even handed him a replica of his own Purple Heart medal, to which Mr Trump replied, this was much easier than serving in combat.
You know, something very nice just happened to me. A man came up to me, and he handed me his Purple Heart. Now, I said to him, is that like the real one, or is that a copy? And he said, that's my real Purple Heart. I have such confidence in you. And I said, man, that's like big stuff. I always wanted to get the Purple Heart. This was much easier.
Donald Trump never served in the military after receiving medical and educational exemptions during the Vietnam War, exemptions many media have questioned in the wake of his latest comments.
Anne Barker reporting.